We talked last week about the cryptocurrency US dollar coin. We're going to get into it a lot more today, but wait till you see where it goes. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Wealth Transfer. My name is Terry Saka. Before we get going on this unbelievable new cryptocurrency, I do want to let you know you can get a hold of us. My favorite place, Instagram, handle Cornerstone Mint. There we have great graphics and wonderful 1-minute videos of teaching. Obviously, Cornerstone there is for silver or gold, Wealth Transfer Ministries, just to get involved in what we're doing here. I want to get right into the crypto. Last week I left off. Now, I know it's funny, a producer was like, you don't like politics, then you talked about politics. Well, I just want you to know it's not politics I was talking about. It's philosophy I was talking about. Crypto is going to be a totalitarian, one world order, one world currency unit. There is no doubt about it. That's the chip. And that's what we're referring to here. So I want to get right into going into this crypto. I think it's very important. But I do want everyone to understand where I was coming from on that. So I want to start with this particular opening on the US dollar coin where it says, get your tokens. Now, your dollar will then be tokenized into a USDC. So you're going to give them a paper dollar, and they're going to tokenize it into the digit in the cosmos, as one customer once told me, at a 1-to-1 ratio. Use your tokens with any participating unit wallet service. Redeem your coin token for a paper dollar. Send tokens back to your Circle account and have the associate US dollars wired to you linked to your bank account. Now, think about that. They're basically eliminating the idea of paper for convenience. And it's already catching on, and I understand. I think there's probably a cataclysmic event that needs to be happening before this unloads into the whole country, because we won't go for it. There is a major portion of this country, not just all the Trump voters, 60+ million, but there's another 30 million plus probably on the right side that just don't care about politics, don't vote, don't do anything, that they also know the same thing. So there's still a lot of people in the United States that really, they know this is coming. They have a mistrust. They know about the chip, mark of the beast, all that concept. So to get those people on board, you're going to need a fear event where they're hungry or something collapse is taking place in the world currency order, fiat order. And I believe that event's actually around the corner more than people realize. This could be a 2-stage thing. Maybe one stage is this, set this up, then another big boom for the final. I don't really know. I just know that in the world of cryptocurrencies, digits in the cosmos, we become slaves. And the problem is we become slaves to who? Right? Like, I would really freak out if I had to be under the authority of like that Cortez Congress girl. I mean, she's just nuts. She's very ignorant, incredibly uneducated, even though she went to college. You hear the stuff coming out of her mouth, you're like, oh my gosh, and you would be in charge of me. That's not happening, right? There's going to be a boom of some kind socially. So there has to be something that forces the other side to capitulate. And there will be always a remnant, I'm sure, millions, militia style, that will never capitulate to that slavery. So this is an interesting argument, but all I know is this is real, and it amazes me that they're even putting it forward. I knew they were going to, by the way, I just didn't know so soon. What is Circle USDC? It is a fully collateralized US dollar stable coin based on the open source fiat, fake, stablecoin framework developed by Center. Circle USDC provides a simple web app for customers to tokenize fiat currency into this coin, fiat token coin, which can be used for payment and trading in the crypto system. So it becomes fully digital, fully convertible. But if that's the case, as we already had talked about, you now become under scrutiny. And look at all through social media what's been taking place through this election cycle. Obviously, they were in a panic, which, it worked because they were able to drum up fear on the left side to get these people that don't really know a lot about any truth to vote, which those on the right astonishes me. I mean, what happened in Arizona? Oh, my gosh. That lady hates your state. She even said it. She's a full-on socialist. Oh, my gosh. It just blows me away. And the reason this all comes up again, it's because it's philosophical, because those are the folks that believe in controlling your thoughts, controlling the way you feel, the way you think, and if you don't agree with them, they want to destroy your life. What happens when they're fully in control? I almost guess California, I forget Europe, they're done. California, they have a supermajority now in their legislature. My guess is they're going to put things in California that are going to just amaze people. That state is nuts. But the control is the issue. Force vaccinations, force you to do this, force you to do that, force you how much water you can drink, force you how much electricity you can use. How dare you go and buy this, or how dare you do that? But don't worry, you can watch porn, you can do this, you can do that. You can be Luciferian. As long as you hate Jesus Christ, as long as you hate Christians, you're on our side. See, it's Luciferian. Crypto will give them that mechanism of control that should terrify everybody. Now, to kind of put a base on what that means, one good thing, well, put it this way, more than one. They talk about it being digitized, exchanged, and moved. We have had how many hacks already into the system? Our Federal Reserve has been hacked, money stolen. Crypto, Bitcoin, has been hacked, hundreds of millions of dollars stolen. It's digits in the cosmos. So it's not really there, and it could be deleted, and who knows what else can happen regardless of blockchain. Don't think for a second there are not going to be people who can manipulate blockchain, right? But yet this is becoming this popular. You see it now. People use an iPay. Go up to Starbucks. They go, look, app. I'm going to pay for it with my phone. They're doing it. So it's just a matter of time. And being that they're doing this with a dollar kind of concept is what gets me. Bitcoin, all the others, fine. It's some weird speculation, just like anything else, of an investment. But the fact they want you to replace this is what's concerning. And believe it or not, those that will be harmed the most, yeah, they'll be those on the left. Not the left, I'm sorry, the poor. Because they use a lot of cash. They don't have credit or the systems like that. But they resolved that, don't worry. They resolved it in India. India is probably some of the poorest in the world, right? And they are cashless, moving in that direction. Forcing everybody to have their little card, which my guess is that card, debit card, driver's license, ID, chip, who knows what, card, will then be in your hand soon. They're already doing it to masses. And, obviously Christians will never take the chip. We'll take the card, and we'll be like, yeah, what's the big deal? Until you disagree. This last election cycle should have showed you that. I think this country's in a very bad place, can't be returned to. Are you protected and preserved with a tangible asset at least? I would be very serious about it, especially with these wavering markets. The political division is extraordinary. The left is going to be ferocious. The right's going to dig in. It's going to be a mess. I want to see the kingdom be protected for what's coming, because these markets are going to come down hardcore. And are you ready for it? And if you're not, get started by at least getting some information. Here's a good place.
Terrorism, a volatile stock market, rising food costs, natural disasters. Every day our economy is at risk, but your assets should not be. Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked so hard to gain. Whether you have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, our accredited asset management specialists are here to support you. Call now and we'll send you urgent information regarding changes to the dollar and challenges to our economy that you need to be prepared for. Learn how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA. We can even arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or send it directly to your home. Do not delay. Call 888-747-3309 or register online at cornerstoneassetmetals.com today. Invest in precious metals and create security in your future today. Call now.
Welcome back. So, obviously we know that there's the electronic side of things, that there could be hacks, that there could be these problems, but they do put a little tiny disclaimer in here. Encumbrances, they say. Depending on the actions of the owners of the USDC token coin, addresses before you receipt of the coin from another coin person, it is possible that the transfer of this between you could result in one account becoming subject to a lien or the other form of security interest before redemption. So let's say you do the transaction, but as my producer brought up, what if you just got in trouble with your wife? Let's say you just got arrested for domestic abuse, or there was a lie. Or like in Maryland, for instance, and I don't know if the guy really was, but there was an incident in Maryland where the gentleman, Maryland, I think it's Maryland or Massachusetts, one of those left sides, they have a real strict gun deal now. It's called the red flag law, where if someone thinks you're crazy, they could just let the police know. The police show up, they confiscate your guns. Now, to some extent, I get that. Problem is, what if people are lying? Oh, they never lie? Really? So what if they don't like you, right? And they make false accusation. Well, anyway, some aunt or some family member of this gentleman, 60-year-old plus guy, made a claim about him saying he's unstable or something. Now, it could be true or not, I don't know. But the point is, they show up at his house, and he had the gun, but they show up at his house like 5 a.m. to take his gun, and they end up shooting and killing him. Now, maybe they did stop something. I don't know. If they did, good. But that's not the point. You know how many times police officers show up at the wrong house, people's houses, to do things, and they kill them? They kill their dogs. No-knock raids, on and on and on. Now, that's bad. That's very bad. That's a bad law, number one. The guy had the rights. I don't know how that works. I don't even get into debates of that. It's the point of control. What, they don't make mistakes? So now we're in this crypto world. Something happens to you that's private, but because everything is blockchained, they know everything. And now somebody in charge in your region, how is it go regionalized? Is it federalized? How is it going to be administered? Somebody in your region doesn't like you, and they freeze your stuff up. They limit what you can buy. Right? Think about that. EBT cards, you can buy this food, you can't buy that, right? Then they control you. We think you're unstable. We're going to cut off your ability to transact until you can be re-educated. Now remember, folks, how we know this is absolutely true. You just don't know the when, but it's so close now that this is in place, this circle. I know it's coming quicker than you think because it's already in. The mathematics is laid out. The blockchain's developed. China, again, China has what they call, do the homework yourself. They have what they call a social credit system. They are full-blown communists over there, meaning it's very bad, nothing good at all. They have this credit system, cameras absolutely everywhere, every corner, every bus, every single place you can imagine is a camera. If you're walking across the street and you step over the line, take your picture. If you're driving a car, you do this, take a picture. If you're not being patriotic enough, they take your picture. If you behave in an unruly way, they take your picture. And every time they take your picture, they have this facial recognition down so well that they demerit you. So let's say your credit score is 740. And all of a sudden they see you talking to someone you're not so sure is a bad guy. It turns out to be a bad guy. Who knows what? Doesn't matter. It's about the fact somebody is judging somebody else. And that's bad. Especially when the person judging you is a communist. I mean, they don't care about truth, right? So they take your picture, your credit score starts dropping. If it drops to a certain point, you can no longer use trains, you can only use planes. So what happens when you have problems with people? What happens if you have political contentions? What happens if you're falsely accused of rape, 20 brawl, or whatever that was, huh? Al Sharpton and all that stuff to those boys, and it turned out to be a whole lie, ruined their lives? What happens when these false accusations like that get made? Like they did against a Supreme Court justice. Turns out 2 of the ladies already recanted and said they were lying. Now there's criminal charges against them. What happens when that happens and they shut off your ability to buy and sell? What else would you have? You don't have anything like this, you don't have anything. People say, well, what can you do with this? What is it? Silver. But you could always buy, sell it, and trade it, you see? There are many ways you can do that. But the fact is the control. And that's what it gets me. It's all about this control. So Circle gets into the whole digital asset realm. They do try to get into explain. They call it the new shape of money. But they're getting into explain that there's risks, including, the volatility, the limited liquidity. Digital assets could result in significant losses. They give a full disclaimer of all the trouble that can come. But they're not telling you about the tyranny and control of the politic. And that's a whole nother side. So if we don't think the concept of Circle, this becoming digital is a threat, then fine. You're going to be part of the one world order. It's all right. I mean, we all have to make a choice. We're all going to stand and go to heaven or not. But what can we do is not be all in the system. If all of our retirement wealth, if all of our money is in a bank, we all know the banks can freeze your money. We had a client recently tell us, it was a small town bank, mind you. I think large banks, they wouldn't be doing this, but we had a client tell us, she said there was a small bank, got an inheritance, something with money, but the money wasn't being used. And there's weird little clauses in the banking world that if your account goes dormant, or lack of activity. After it goes dormant or lack of activity, so you got money sitting there, you're not doing anything with it because you didn't need it. But they were freezing this lady's account. They were telling her they were going to freeze it. They first were selling her goods, trying to say, take loans, do this, use money, do something with your money. And she didn't want to. Then they told her, we're going to freeze your account. And they did. This is an amazing story, and she told us this. That's why she took a big chunk of it out and just put it in physical silver, because she wanted that safety away from the system that can just take it away. She wanted the physical just sitting there in her home, buried in the yard, who knows what. But the point is they were freezing it. Why? Dormant. And do you know once it goes dormant, the money gets confiscated? Think about that, right? It is not your money in the banking system. According to the banks, you are an unsecured creditor, meaning your currency goes into the bank, you're giving them a loan. That's why they pay you a pittance of interest, because you're loaning them your money. It no longer becomes yours. You think it's yours, but it's not. So the bank goes out of business, there's trouble, there's not FDIC like you think. FDIC is, gosh, 20-some billion, and there's hundreds of trillions of derivatives. So the point is, if the bank goes down, don't think it can be saved. You can get pennies on the dollar. They can confiscate your money because you're an unsecured creditor. So secured creditor or derivative holders get paid back first, and then the others. So this gets deep. Let me first take a break, because you've got to see this. If you want to be protected, this is the place you got to get started.
Buying power. What does it mean to you and your family? Have you noticed the prices of everything we buy are rising? Goods and services are becoming more expensive, and the money you work so hard for buys less and less and less. If you saved $250,000 in cash in the 1960s, that cash today would be worth approximately the same, $250,000. Yet does it have the same buying power today? No, not even close. Now take that same $250,000 from the 60s saved in silver instead of cash. Today, it would be worth a staggering $4.25 million. Now that's buying power. Protect and preserve your buying power now by rolling over a portion of your IRA into a silver IRA. Use the power of constitutional money silver to protect your standard of living in retirement and maintain the quality of life you are hoping for. The paper dollar you are saving has tremendous challenges ahead, so don't delay. Call Cornerstone Asset Metals now at 888-747-3309. Don't give away your hard-earned savings any longer. Be diversified. Get protected today.
Welcome back. So they were freezing her account and really on the verge of confiscating her account. Now, they can't do that if you have it yourself, you see. At least we have something we can use for, a medium of exchange outside the digital world if it got real ugly, let alone the fact of the manipulation underworld. Do you know right now, just kind of off note on that precious metal side, gold currently today has 382 ounces sold on paper in the market that controls the price for every 1 real ounce in the vault for delivery. Silver is hundreds more than that. Meaning they have sold 382 ounces, 382 people on one side of the street, 1 gold coin on the other, go. Whose is it? That's why the price of gold and silver have stayed so low. We thought at one point 90 to 1 was bad. 90 ounces sold on paper to 1 real ounce in the vault. We thought that was bad. And now it's almost 400. Wait till you see silver. So when they tell you that gold and silver is out of favor, it's not real popular, people aren't doing it, blah, blah, it's just absolutely inaccurate. Yeah, demand has dropped to some extent because the mainstream, we the people, are in the stock markets for the most part, not paying attention to the bigger picture. But that's a big deal. They're doing that for a reason, and it's not just to make money. They're doing it to keep the prices down. Once this derivative manipulation blows up in this reset, you're going to see higher gold and silver prices. There's just no doubt about it. And yes, they're in control with the manipulation, but do keep in mind with the crypto concept behind us, this could be a different world. And that's what concerns me because we in the kingdom won't have any protection. So what do we know is happening in the markets? We understand there's some big stuff going on. Is this the time frame? I know a lot of people, is this the time frame we're going to see that real big one? Yes, there's big money managers saying something is really wrong. We just see the choppiness at the top of the market here, right? Like, for instance, this, the S&P 500 index. If you just look back to, 2015 era when we were ready to have a whole nother collapse. That was the Shemitah, by the way. But then look at the very top right here. We have busted through the moving averages. And it is extremely toppy. It is ready to come down. Now, if that S&P comes down, some seem to think we'll blow off top to 3,000. But once that comes, it's coming down so hard, we are probably going to see 40, 50% easily in the markets. Easily. That's choppiness, bad. Technicals are bad. We've been going through this over the last handful of weeks, showing all the data that's lining up with it. There was a time in the United States when a $20 bill was redeemed in gold. It was 1 gold coin you would get. They were able to make it so it had some tangible nature to it. That's when we had a better standing financially. Now we're the worst debtors in the world, and creditor-wise, we used to be the largest creditor. Now we are not. We're the largest debtor in the world. It's insane the amount of financials that are just going haywire. We started out good. We are coming to the very end of that cycle. Something globally is coming to change this. The dynamics on Wall Street don't make any sense. The debt levels on Wall Street don't make any sense. Now, I'm not so sure that this is the correction or collapse that triggers these cryptos to come into a digital order. I don't believe we're quite ready yet. I still think those facilities with the NSA and the facilities that they're building, the spy facilities, I think all that has to get into place before this currency digital system is going to be allowed. Because then they're going to want to know absolutely everything, the who, what, where, when, why, how. So it won't just be a timestamp like a digital currency timestamp. Like here's paper, but the crypto will be a digital timestamp of everything. They're going to then link that to here's your blockchain digital currency timeline of the who, what, where, when, why of who you're talking to, when you're buying it, what you're doing, how did you get that money because you didn't make that money, and all so forth. And then on the flip side of it, you have the market system. It gets ugly. It gets very ugly because now it's a matter of what they see. They'll see it all at that point, so now they can control it all. And those type of algorithms become very dangerous. What we do know in the markets is it's been selling off. Insiders have been selling into the market system. This is known as quantitative easing. So we know this whole thing blew up because of quantitative easing, coming to an end with significant implications for the global fixed income market. Now, if you notice in this picture, the blue is the Federal Reserve, which is the United States, and green being the Bank of England, and then the gray being the ECB. Now, what I want you to see in this, which I find fascinating, this is monthly flows of these central bank and their asset purchases. Go back to 2008 and 9. Who did the initial money printing? Yes, the blue, right? That big spike there on the left, that's the United States Federal Reserve. Then we stopped money printing. The Bank of England picked up a little. We did it again. Then we stopped money printing. And then Japan picks it up, and England picks it up. And then we do a massive money print again in the middle, blue. And then it collapses at 2015. Since 2015, this whole thing's been fake, for the most part. Obviously, small companies are making money. Some people are doing well. It's not the point. The vast majority of wealth is evaporating, though, and the vast majority of people are still suffering. And that's why, of course, socialism is becoming popular. But what I'm trying to get across here is they're strategizing. One central bank does the money printing, injecting liquidity into the market. They stop. Another bank picks up the pace. So if you noticed, the Federal Reserve, the blue in the middle, collapses. Then the Bank of Japan picks up the pace. Then a massive money printing from the European community. Well, on the far right, you know, all of them now have pulled off. They're starting to pull money out. This is what's going to cause a massive crisis and why you're seeing the stock markets as they are. And just know, folks, it's coming and it's close. So get protected, preserve what you have, be diversified, and the best way is to have tangible assets. Until next week, God bless each and every one of you.